Hey, welcome back to Zombie Tactics. Today, another installment in the GunFu series. I'm calling this one Administrative M.R.I. It's about how we can do administrative procedures with a firearm so that we make sure that we're doing them the right way every time and we can avoid accidents and we can make sure that our gun is in the condition that we want it to be in and we can be reasonably sure that it is. Today I'm going to be using the Glock 19, although these procedures apply equally well to other handguns, to rifles, to shotguns. Your mileage may vary. But in principle, the principles remain the same. Well, what's an administrative procedure? An administrative procedure is one where I am going to be preparing this weapon either to put it into service or to take it out of service. When it's in service, that means it's loaded, it's cocked, it's ready to go. If I have any safety mechanisms on this pistol that should be ordinarily engaged, they are engaged. And it's ready to go. It's in a holster. Maybe it's in a safe on the wall for ready access. Beep, 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 beep. There's a bump in the night and I have to, protect my family, that kind of thing. It's ready to go. Taking it out of service means I'm going to make sure that this weapon is safe, that it's unloaded, that if I'm going to put it in a safe for keeping, not a ready safe for ready use, that it is in an unloaded safe condition. Maybe if I'm going to service this gun, break it down and clean it, something like that, or if I'm going to ship it off to the company to have it repaired, some kind of problem like that, that it's administratively made safe. Those are the two concepts. Now for that reason, we're doing an administrative procedure. There's nothing in this administrative procedure that says that I should treat this gun any differently than if it's loaded. And if I don't treat it any differently than if it's loaded, one thing I shouldn't be doing is I should not be doing any kind of pointing the gun somewhere when I don't intend to shoot it. Now for that reason, I'm not a big fan of what some instructors show you, and that is, I'm going to unload my gun, I'm going to make it safe, I'm going to make it ready. Let's make sure we take that opportunity to get one more trigger press in. I don't like that. I don't like that for the following reason. We have probably been out at the range all dang day in a lot of cases where we're doing that press out, and at the end of that press out, we're pulling the trigger. That means that our heads are already geared to pull the trigger at the end of that press out. To me, that is an unacceptable risk-reward proposition. It means that it's a little fuzzy in my head and it's likely to be a little fuzzy in my hands. If it's fuzzy in your head, it's going to be fuzzy in your hands. Since I'm not intending to shoot the gun at that point in time, I shouldn't be doing a procedure that ordinarily ends with me shooting the gun. I shouldn't do it when I'm in the middle of making the gun ready, and I shouldn't be doing it when I think I'm at the end of a stage where I'm making the gun safe. That's how accidents happen. Just my opinion. I don't have emotional investment in it. That's just what I think about it. If you feel differently, your mileage may vary. Please be safe. But I want to separate administrative procedures from ordinary use case procedures. For that reason, I don't think you should ever do a press out at the beginning, the middle, or the end of an administrative procedure. What you should do is the following, though. You should have a consistent procedure, which means that you're doing things in the right order every time. And the right order is the following: M.R.I. That's why I call this the administrative M.R.I. You'll remember M.R.I. because we hear the phrase M.R.I. all the time. It's when they stick you in the machine at the hospital to test whether you got some kind of little calcium deposit in your head or you got something wrong with you. So we'll remember the initials M.R.I. And they stand for the following. This is a pistol that I just took out of a safe, and I think the pistol is safe. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make the pistol ready for use. And the way I'm going to do this is in the order of M.R.I. M means magazine. Rack means I'm going to rack the slide. Oh, look at that. I thought it was a safe gun, but it actually already had a round in it. If I'd begun this procedure with a press out and maybe thought, it's unloaded, just press the trigger, I could have just easily killed the cat or the TV or something more valuable to me. So for that reason, I don't, again, like that whole press out at the beginning, the middle, or the end of an administrative procedure. But again, magazine goes in, you rack the gun, because we're loading it, we want one to go in there, and then what we're going to do is we're going to visually and tactily inspect the chamber at the end of this procedure. Magazine, rack, inspect, M.R.I. You're going to remember that. Now, at the end of our our duty shift, at the end of the day, we come home, maybe we're a concealed carrier, and we say we want to make this pistol safe now because we're going to put it away in a location where it's not going to be ready for use. We're going to throw it away in a safe, and we're going to maybe carry a different gun around the house with us, or we had a problem with this gun and now we want to ship it off to the manufacturer to have it fixed. Maybe we want to work on it a little bit and clean it up. We now need to unload the gun. Well, people get things in the wrong order. The one that I've seen a lot of people do is they go, oh, I'm going to do the reverse, so I'm going to do it in the reverse order. I'm going to inspect the round, then I'm going to rack it, then I'm going to move the magazine. Well, that leaves us in the following condition, that there is now one in the gun, and that's how a lot of accidents happen. They say, oh, I'm doing the reverse, I'll do it in the reverse order. I'm unloading the gun, that means I'm going to do it in the reverse order of what I loaded the gun in. It's fuzzy in your head, so it gets fuzzy in your hands, and that's not what we want to do. We want to have it clear in our head, and the clear order is always the following. If I'm taking what I think is a loaded gun, I'm going to first drop the magazine. I'm going to then rack the slide. That should eject any round that's in the pistol. If I don't see it or I'm a little unsure about it, heck, I can go R. Doesn't make a difference. At that point in time, I'm then going to visually and tactily inspect the magazine, the chamber. And now I've done the M.R.I. in the same order again. It's the same order regardless of whether I'm putting the gun in service, taking it out of service, loading it, unloading it. It's always the administrative M.R.I. And we don't, once again, end it by pressing that gun out and pulling the trigger. Why? Because there's no reason to do this at this point in time. The only reason with this gun that we would ever pull the trigger when we're not intending to shoot someone is if we're, for instance, going to take it apart and clean it. Now with the Glock, you'd point it in a safe direction, you'd pull the trigger, and you'd then pull the gun apart, and I'm not going to demonstrate that. But in ordinary conditions, we would not pull the trigger. We don't have any need to put this gun away. If we're uncertain that we didn't do things in the right order, well, we'll just check it in the same order again, which is M. I don't have a magazine in there. R, I'm racking it to make sure that there's nothing in there. And now I'm going to inspect it visually and tactily to make sure that there's nothing in the chamber. I can then put the gun away with confidence that at least right now this gun is not loaded. Boom, it goes stored away in a safe where I'm not going to use it, or it gets sent to the company for repair or whatever. That gun is now out of my hands, so anytime that gun comes back in my hands, what do? I have an administrative procedure, M.R.I. Whatever condition I want the gun to be in, that's the order I do it in. If I want this gun to be unloaded, check the magazine, rack it, inspect it. If I want this gun to be loaded, put a magazine in, rack it, inspect it. And that's the way we'll keep it in our head. We'll keep it from being fuzzy in our head. We'll make sure it's clear in our head, so it's clear in our hands. That's the administrative M.R.I. It's my approach to doing administrative procedures. If you find value in that, go ahead and do it that way. I've got no ego investment in this at all. So if you've got a different way of doing it and it's safe and it's effective for you, be my guest, not a problem. That's Zombie Tactics for today. Keep your powder dry, and as always, aim for the head. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.